The Silent Colony. The Last Transmission. Sarah Chen stood in the communications center of Cerberus Station, staring at the silent radio equipment that had been their lifeline to Earth. The red lights on the control panel blinked mockingly at her, each flash a reminder that they were completely alone in the vast darkness of space. 3 months had passed since the solar storm had fried every piece of long-range communication equipment on the mining colony. 3 months without a single word from home. The colony of 200 miners and their families had been established on the edge of human space to extract rare minerals from the asteroid belt surrounding the red dwarf star Kepler 442. It was dangerous work, but the pay was good, and the metals were desperately needed for Earth's growing space fleet. Now, as Sarah watched the last of their emergency power cells drain away, she wondered if anyone back home even remembered they existed. Marcus Webb entered the communications center, his engineer's uniform stained with grease and his face showing the exhaustion that had become common among all the colonists. He carried a toolkit in one hand and a cup of recycled coffee in the other. The coffee was more water than actual coffee now, but it was warm and familiar. "Any luck with the transmitter?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer from the look on Marcus's face. "I've tried everything," Marcus said, setting down his tools with a heavy sigh. "The solar storm didn't just damage our equipment, it completely destroyed the quantum relays. Without those, we might as well be shouting into the void." He took a sip of his weak coffee and made a face. "Even if I could fix the transmitter, we don't have enough power to send a signal strong enough to reach the nearest relay station." Sarah nodded and looked out the viewport at the endless field of asteroids that surrounded their station. Somewhere beyond those rocks was Earth, but it might as well have been in another galaxy. The mining operation had been so successful that they had scheduled supply runs every 6 months instead of every 3. The next supply ship wasn't due for another 2 months, assuming it even came. For all Earth knew, Cerberus Station had been destroyed in the solar storm. The dying station. Ana Rodriguez walked through the residential section of the station, checking on the families who called this remote outpost home. As the security chief, her job had evolved from keeping order among the miners to keeping everyone's spirits up as their situation grew more desperate each day. She stopped at the Thompson family's quarters, where 8-year-old Billy was playing with toy spaceships while his parents whispered anxiously in the corner. "How are we doing today, Billy?" Anna asked, kneeling down to the boy's level. "I'm flying to Earth to get help," Billy said, making swooshing sounds as he moved his toy ship through the air. "My dad says we need new parts for the machines." Anna smiled, but her heart ached. Billy's father, Tom Thompson, was one of the best mechanics on the station, but even he couldn't perform miracles. They were running out of everything: food, water, power, and most importantly, hope. "That's a great idea," Anna told Billy. "Maybe your ship will be fast enough to beat the real rescue ships here." Tom Thompson looked up from his conversation with his wife and caught Anna's eye. The look they shared said everything that couldn't be spoken in front of the children. The food recyclers were breaking down faster than they could be repaired. The water purification system was running on backup filters that wouldn't last much longer. And the power grid that kept them all alive was slowly failing, one system at a time. Anna continued her rounds, stopping at each family's quarters to check on their needs and offer what comfort she could. The Patels were worried about their teenage daughter's cough that wouldn't go away. The Nakamuras were trying to stretch their baby's formula until the food synthesizers could be repaired. The elderly Mr. Kowalski spent most of his time staring out at the stars, talking to his late wife, as if she were still there. The Discovery, Dr. Elena Vasquez, was in the station's small laboratory, analyzing mineral samples from the latest mining expedition, when her equipment started registering strange readings. As the colony's chief scientist, she had seen plenty of unusual phenomena in their remote location, but this was different. The energy signatures she was detecting weren't coming from any natural source she recognized. "Marcus, you need to see this," Elena called over the intercom. Marcus arrived at the lab still carrying his toolkit, followed closely by Sarah, who had heard the urgency in Alina's voice. Alina pointed to her computer screen, which showed a complex pattern of energy waves. "I've been detecting these signals for the past 2 days," Alina explained. "At first, I thought it was interference from the asteroid field, but the pattern is too regular, too organized. This is definitely artificial." Sarah studied the readings, her administrative training helping her understand the basics of what she was seeing. Could it be from another human colony? Maybe someone trying to contact us? Elena shook her head. "The energy signature is unlike anything in our databases. The frequency patterns don't match any known human technology." She paused, looking worried. "In fact, they don't match any known technology at all." Marcus leaned over the console, his engineer's mind processing the information. "How far away is the source?" "That's the concerning part," Elena said. "When I first detected it, the signal was coming from approximately 50 light-years away. But with each reading, it's getting stronger and closer. Whatever is generating this signal is moving toward us at incredible speed." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. In their desperate situation, any contact with the outside galaxy should have been welcome news. But something about Alina's tone and the strange nature of the signals made her deeply uneasy. Preparations. Ana Rodriguez gathered her small security team in the station's armory. The 5 guards who helped maintain order among the miners were hardly a military force, but they were all she had if trouble came calling. Their weapons were designed for dealing with the occasional dispute between workers or protecting against space pirates, not for fighting an unknown alien force. "I want every weapon checked and every piece of equipment inventoried," Anna instructed her team. "I don't know what's coming our way, but we need to be ready for anything." Sergeant Williams, a former military man who had joined the colony security force for the steady pay, looked skeptical. "Chief, our weapons are mostly non-lethal crowd control devices. If we're facing a real threat, we're not exactly equipped for a fight." Anna knew he was right, but she also knew they had to try. "Then we get creative. Marcus has been working with the mining equipment. Some of those plasma cutters and demolition charges might be useful if modified properly." Meanwhile, Marcus was in the engineering section with a team of the colony's best technicians, trying to find ways to turn their industrial equipment into defensive weapons. The mining operation used powerful plasma cutters to slice through asteroid rock, and the construction crews had access to explosive charges for clearing debris. With some modifications, these tools might be able to serve as weapons, though Marcus had no idea how effective they would be against whatever was approaching. "Can we use the mining drones as remote weapons?" asked Jenny Kim, one of the younger engineers. Marcus considered the idea. The automated mining drones were designed to navigate through the asteroid field and extract valuable materials. They were tough, maneuverable, and already equipped with cutting tools. "It's possible," he said. "We'd need to override their safety protocols and reprogram their navigation systems, but it might work." The approaching storm. Sarah stood in the station's observation deck, looking out at the star field that had been their only view for the past 3 years. The miners and their families went about their daily routines, but there was a tension in the air that everyone could feel. The children played more quietly, the adults spoke in hushed tones, and everyone glanced frequently at the speakers, waiting for an announcement that might change everything. Alina's latest report had been both fascinating and terrifying. The unknown signal was now coming from less than 1 light-year away, and it was still approaching at a speed that defied conventional physics. Whatever technology was powering the source of those signals was far beyond anything humanity had developed. Administrator Chen to the communications center. Priority 1. Alina's voice crackled over the intercom. Sarah hurried to the communications center, where she found Alina and Marcus staring at the sensor displays with expressions of awe and fear. The main screen showed a 3-dimensional representation of local space, with Cerberus Station at the center and the surrounding asteroid field mapped in detail. But now there was something else on the display. a massive object moving through space toward their location. "My God," Sarah whispered. "How big is that thing?" Elena checked her readings again, as if hoping she had made a mistake. "Based on the energy displacement, I estimate it's approximately 5 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. It's larger than any ship in Earth's fleet." Marcus pulled up the technical specifications on his tablet. "Our entire station is only 800 meters across. That ship could swallow us whole and not even notice." The massive vessel was still too far away to see with optical sensors, but its approach was unmistakable. The energy readings that Elena had been tracking were growing stronger by the hour, and the ship's trajectory would bring it directly to Cerberus Station. The final hours. As word of the approaching ship spread throughout the station, the colonists reacted in different ways. Some gathered in the common areas to speculate about whether the visitors would be friendly. Others retreated to their quarters with their families, hoping that isolation would somehow protect them. The children asked endless questions that the adults couldn't answer, and the elderly shared stories of first contact scenarios from old Earth movies and books. Anna worked with her security team to establish defensive positions throughout the station, though they all knew that conventional tactics would be useless against a ship of that size. Marcus and his engineers continued their frantic efforts to weaponize the mining equipment, succeeding in jury-rigging several plasma cutters into crude but potentially effective energy weapons. Dr. Elena Vasquez monitored the approaching vessel's signals, trying to learn anything she could about its technology and intentions. The energy patterns were becoming clearer as the ship drew nearer, and what she discovered made her even more concerned. The vessel's power output was enormous, suggesting weapons and defensive systems far beyond human capabilities. Sarah Chen found herself in the position of having to make decisions that could determine the fate of everyone on the station. Should they try to hide among the asteroids? Should they attempt to communicate with the approaching ship? Should they prepare for battle, even though they were hopelessly outmatched? As the hours passed and the alien vessel drew closer, the colonists of Cerberus Station could only wait and wonder whether they were about to witness humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, or its last stand in the darkness of space. The sensor alarms began to sound as Elena detected the massive ship dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of their system. Whatever was coming had arrived, and the isolated mining colony was about to discover that they were not alone in the universe. When humanity fights back. First contact. The alien ship materialized at the edge of the Kepler 442 system, like a dark omen against the stars. Through Cerberus Station's most powerful telescopes, Sarah Chen could see the vessel's true form for the first time, and it filled her with dread. The ship was angular and predatory, covered in what appeared to be weapon ports and sensor arrays. Its hull was a deep black that seemed to absorb light, making it look like a piece of the void itself had taken shape. Elena Vasquez worked frantically at her sensor station, trying to gather as much information as possible about the alien vessel. "I'm detecting massive energy buildup across multiple points on their hull," she reported. "Those aren't communication arrays. They're weapons, and they're powering up." The alien ship began moving towards Cerberus Station, with deliberate purpose, its approach steady and menacing. As it drew closer, smaller craft detached from the main vessel like parasites leaving their host. These fighter-sized ships moved with an agility that human technology couldn't match, swarming through the asteroid field toward the mining colony. Marcus Webb and his engineering team watched the approaching fighters on their displays, noting their design and capabilities. "They're using some kind of gravity manipulation for propulsion," Marcus observed. "No visible engines, no exhaust signatures. They're just gliding through space like they own it." Ana Rodriguez positioned her security team at strategic points throughout the station, though everyone knew their conventional weapons would be useless against advanced alien technology. The miners had volunteered to help defend their home, turning the station into a fortress manned by desperate civilians who had never expected to fight for their lives. The ultimatum. A deep, resonant tone filled the air throughout Cerberus Station as the alien ship established a communication link. The sound was unlike anything the colonists had ever heard, vibrating through the station's hull and making everyone's teeth ache. When the aliens spoke, their words came through in perfect English, translated by technology that was clearly superior to anything humanity possessed. Humans of the mining facility, the alien voice began, cold and mechanical despite the translation. You have violated the territorial claims of the Vex Empire. This system and all its resources now belong to us. You will surrender your facility and submit to processing, or you will be eliminated. Sarah stepped forward to the communication console, her hands shaking slightly as she activated the transmitter. This is Administrator Sarah Chen of Cerberus Station. We are a civilian mining operation with families and children aboard. We pose no threat to your empire. Please allow us to evacuate peacefully. The alien response came immediately, without any consideration for her words. Peaceful evacuation is not an option. Your species has been classified as a potential threat to Vex expansion. You will surrender for processing into our labor force, or you will be destroyed where you stand. You have one of your time units to decide. Belina quickly calculated the time conversion. 1 hour, she whispered. They're giving us 1 hour. The communication link closed, leaving the colonists in stunned silence. The reality of their situation was becoming clear. They were facing an alien empire that saw humans as either slaves or obstacles to be eliminated. There would be no negotiation, no mercy, and no chance for survival unless they found a way to fight back. Human ingenuity. Marcus gathered his engineering team in the station's main workshop, where they had been converting mining equipment into weapons. The plasma cutters had been successfully modified into energy rifles, though they were crude and had limited power supplies. The mining drones had been reprogrammed as remote-controlled missiles, each carrying a small explosive charge that might damage alien fighters. It's not much, Marcus admitted as he showed the converted equipment to Anna and her security team. But it's better than throwing rocks at them. Anna examined the makeshift weapons, her military training helping her assess their potential effectiveness. How many do we have? 15 plasma rifles and 23 armed drones, Jenny Kim reported. We've also rigged the station's industrial fabricators to produce more explosive charges, but we'll need time to manufacture them. Time was the one thing they didn't have. The alien fighters were already taking up positions around the station, clearly preparing for an assault. The main alien ship hung in space like a dark monument, the colonists' impending doom, its weapons charged and ready to reduce Cerberus Station to debris. Billy Thompson, the 8-year-old boy who had been playing with toy spaceships, approached Anna with his father Tom close behind. Miss Anna, Billy said seriously, my dad says the bad aliens want to hurt us. Can I help fight them? Anna knelt down to Billy's level, her heart breaking at the thought of children being caught in this nightmare. You can help by staying safe with your mom, okay? The grown-ups will handle the fighting. But even as she said the words, Anna knew that if the aliens broke through their defenses, nowhere on the station would be safe. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing technology that was centuries ahead of their own. The only thing they had in their favor was the human refusal to give up, even when facing impossible odds. The battle begins. The alien fighters struck without warning, their weapons cutting through the station's outer hull like it was made of paper. Emergency alarms blared throughout Cerberus Station as atmosphere began venting from multiple breaches. The colonists who weren't fighting ran for the emergency shelters, while Anna's security team and the volunteer miners took up defensive positions with their improvised weapons. Marcus launched the converted mining drones from the station's cargo bays, watching on his displays as they streaked toward the alien fighters. The first few drones were easily destroyed by the aliens' superior weapons, but a few managed to get close enough to detonate their explosive charges. One alien fighter was damaged, its graceful flight becoming erratic as it struggled to maintain control. We actually hit one. Jenny Kim shouted over the noise of the battle. The drones are working. But their small victory was short-lived. The alien fighters adapted quickly to the drone attacks, using coordinated defensive maneuvers to avoid the explosive charges while continuing their assault on the station. More hull breaches appeared as alien weapons carved through Cerberus Station's defenses, and several colonists were injured by flying debris and explosive decompression. Anna led a team of defenders to repel alien boarding parties that had breached the station's outer sections. The plasma rifles that Marcus had created proved surprisingly effective against alien armor, but the invaders were skilled warriors with superior equipment and tactics. For every alien they managed to stop, two more seemed to take its place. The battle raged through the corridors of Cerberus Station as human determination clashed with alien technology. Miners fought alongside security guards, using tools and equipment as weapons in a desperate struggle for survival. Families huddled in emergency shelters, while explosions shook the station around them, and everyone wondered how long they could hold out against such overwhelming odds. An unexpected arrival. Just as the alien assault was breaking through the colonists' final defenses, Elena's sensors detected new contacts approaching the system at incredible speed. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, she announced, her voice filled with disbelief. Big ones. Really big ones. Sarah looked at the sensor display and felt her heart skip a beat. A fleet of human ships was approaching Cerberus Station, but these weren't the familiar designs of Earth's colonial vessels. These ships were sleek, angular, and bristling with weapon systems that made the alien vessel look almost primitive by comparison. The lead ship in the human fleet was a massive dreadnought that dwarfed even the Vex Empire vessel. Its hull gleamed with advanced armor plating, and its weapon ports crackled with barely contained energy. Behind it came a dozen smaller warships, each one looking like it had been designed for only one purpose: war. A new voice came over the communication system, speaking with an Earth accent, but carrying an authority that made everyone listen. Vex Empire vessel, this is Admiral Catherine Morrison of the Earth Defense Fleet ship Retribution. You are in violation of human territorial space and have attacked a civilian colony. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The alien response was swift and arrogant. Human fleet, you are outnumbered and outmatched. This system belongs to the Vex Empire now. Leave or be destroyed with your colony. Admiral Morrison's reply was calm and deadly. You have 30 seconds to begin your withdrawal. After that, we'll show you what happens when you threaten human civilians. The power of humanity. The Vex Empire ship opened fire first, its massive weapons sending bolts of energy toward the human fleet. But the Earth Defense Fleet was ready. The human ships moved with precision and coordination, their advanced shields deflecting the alien attacks while their own weapons charged for retaliation. When the human fleet returned fire, the difference in technology became immediately apparent. Beams of coherent energy lanced out from the Earth ships, striking the alien vessel with devastating accuracy. The Vex Empire ship's shields flared and then collapsed under the concentrated assault, leaving its hull exposed to the human weapons. The alien fighters that had been attacking Cerberus Station found themselves suddenly outmatched as human fighter craft swarmed from the fleet's hangar base. These weren't the slow, clumsy designs that the colonists remembered from 20 years ago. These human fighters moved like living things, their pilots demonstrating skills and tactics that spoke of extensive combat experience. Anna and her defenders watched in amazement as the tide of battle turned completely in their favor. The aliens who had seemed so powerful and advanced were now fleeing from human weapons, their superior technology proving inadequate against humanity's new military might. Within minutes, the Vex Empire ship was crippled and drifting, its crew either dead or evacuating in escape pods. The alien fighters that had been terrorizing the mining station were now debris floating among the asteroids, destroyed by human pilots who made the battle look almost effortless. Revelations. Admiral Morrison's shuttle docked with Cerberus Station an hour after the battle ended, bringing with her a team of officers and technicians to assess the damage and provide aid to the colonists. Sarah met the Admiral at the airlock. still hardly believing that they had been rescued from certain death. Admiral Morrison was a woman in her 50s with graying hair and eyes that had seen too much combat. Her uniform bore no decorations, but her bearing spoke of someone who had fought many battles and won them all. Behind her came officers who moved with the same confident precision, clearly veterans of conflicts the colonists couldn't imagine. "Administrator Chen," the admiral said, extending her hand. "I'm sorry we couldn't get here sooner. We've been tracking Vex Empire expansion in this sector for months, but they moved faster than we anticipated." Sarah shook the admiral's hand, noting the calluses and scars that spoke of a military career. "Admiral, we thought Earth had forgotten about us. Our communications have been down for months, and we had no idea anyone was coming." "Earth never forgets its colonies," Admiral Morrison replied. "We've been monitoring this system through long-range sensors and knew you were in trouble. The Defense Fleet has standing orders to protect human civilian populations, no matter how remote they might be." Marcus approached the group, his engineer's curiosity overcoming his awe at their rescue. "Admiral, your ship's technology is incredible. How did Earth develop such advanced weapons and defenses?" Admiral Morrison's expression darkened slightly. "The galaxy taught us some hard lessons over the past 20 years. Humanity learned that if we wanted to survive among the stars, we had to become stronger than anything that might threaten us." Elena joined the conversation, her scientific mind processing the implications of what she had witnessed. "Admiral, your fleet destroyed that alien ship like it was nothing. How many conflicts has Earth been involved in?" "More than we wanted, fewer than our enemies expected," Admiral Morrison answered diplomatically. "The important thing is that human colonies are safe, and the species that threaten us learn to respect human space." As the admiral and her team worked to repair the station and treat the wounded, the colonists of Cerberus Station began to understand that the galaxy had changed dramatically while they were isolated in their remote mining operation. Humanity was no longer the peaceful, exploring species that had left Earth decades ago. They had become something far more dangerous, something that alien empires feared and respected. The rescue of Cerberus Station was just one small example of humanity's new place in the galaxy, a reminder that when humans were threatened, they didn't just survive, they made sure the threat never arose again. And for the colonists who had faced certain death at the hands of an alien empire, that knowledge was both comforting and slightly terrifying. As the Earth Defense Fleet prepared to escort the mining colony to safety, Sarah Chen looked out at the stars and realized that humanity had truly claimed its place among them, not as explorers or traders, but as guardians of human space who would never again allow their people to face extinction alone.